The path to re-election for President Trump could depend on a handful of Midwest states.
Yeah, Doug Reardon here to map out his potential path to victory. Michigan is in that group of states, Doug.
It is, Derek and Annie, and that region is known as the Blue Wall. Behold it. We got most of our states on the northeast side of this country, in the New England area, the Mid-Atlantic, and over on the West Coast as well. But a lot of those states are here in the Midwest. And traditionally, we're talking over the course of decades, they go to Democrats in presidential elections. So what does that mean in terms of historically playing things out? Well, let's take a look. In 2008, this was the Obama-McCain victory. And if you look, not much changed from that first map where we showed you where those states were along the West Coast, along the East Coast, and in the Midwest, things stayed relatively blue, and Barack Obama got 365 electoral votes. Remember that you only need 270 to win, so that big blue wall was a big blue help for him in 2008. Let's fast forward to 2012, where he faced Mitt Romney. Better on the inner country for Romney than McCain did, taking Indiana, taking Nebraska outright. But again, not a whole lot of change up on the coasts and in the Midwest. Barack Obama, again, getting over 300 electoral votes, and a lot of it had to do with these very high-density electoral states like Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, California. Not a whole lot of change. So watch what happens, though, when we fast forward to 2016, two new candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and take a look at the Midwest. Iowa, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, every single one of them flipped for the president. It ended up totaling about 70 electoral votes. He broke down a piece of that blue wall in the Midwest, and it won him the election. It showed just breaking even a small piece of that wall down is enough to help a Republican candidate win. And so we'll prove what that means. We'll take a look at another map here, and what we've done is we've left Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina blank because those are all within 3 points of each other, as is Ohio, but we also left Michigan and Pennsylvania blank. Traditionally, when we're talking tradition, right, over the course of years, Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina have gone to Republican candidates. So we'll give the president that. If he repeats victories in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, and in Michigan, like he did in 2016, with 8 points to spare, the president will win this race. So it just goes to show how important those Midwest states are. David Rutledge, a political science professor with Central Michigan University, says it'll be a lot harder to break that wall down a second time, though, given the margins were really tight in 2016. And the polls, though, keep in mind, were favoring Hillary Clinton, and they were wrong.
He needs absolutely to win those states again. But it doesn't bode really well for him because of what a narrow margin it was in 2016. Polls can be wrong. And if these polls, the polls that I've been looking at, you've been looking at, that have been broadcast all over the place, if they're off by 5%, I would say that would bode well for a Trump victory.
5%. That's not a lot, guys. Hillary Clinton had a far bigger lead in 2016 than Joe Biden is. The president really is making an attempt to break down that blue wall, especially here in Michigan. He was in Lansing Tuesday. He'll be back in Oakland County tomorrow. And we are getting word from the Associated Press that he could, just as he did in 2016, end his campaign here in Grand Rapids. Again, that would be quite a show of how important this state actually is in this election. Derek, Andy.